Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So it's Sunday afternoon, and what's a guy like me doing? Not at the gym. I already went to church. I'm not fishing. Where else would I be but at work, right? So today I thought I would show all you guys, you cage owners and future cage owners, um, how to do a little maintenance on your plow today. And I think we're going to focus on the springs. So over time, maybe about 4 or 5 year old plows, um, you're going to need to pay a little close attention to your springs. Um, and not so much the springs or the coils themselves, but the mechanism that kind of holds them together. So there's a male and a female tube that are telescoping inside of one another when the trip action happens. And you have to make sure that there's no debris, corrosion, stuff like that inside those that can help or prevent them from sliding in and out of each other real easily. So what we're talking about is these babies right here on the SnowFire series plow. So on your 6, 8, 9, 10 foot, there's going to be 4 springs each. If you get the 12 foot, which is something new, I think in 2016, those will have 8 of these. But what you're going to look for is that this is the male tube, the lower one, is going to be able to slide in and out of that female real easily. So what we've seen in 4 or 5 year old plows is some of that corrosion and debris can get in between those and start to make them sticky. So your trip edge actually will either come back real slowly or not come back at all. So it's a maintenance aspect, lube it up type of thing. So I'm going to take this fairly new plow in the shop today and show you all how the easiest way is to just pop those suckers back off, clean them up, and put it back together. It should be about a 15-minute job. So follow along. You'll see how to do it the easy way. For this job, we're going to need a 1 1/8 inch impact socket and 1 1/8 inch wrench, a hammer, and a 6-inch punch, pin punch probably, just to help line up the springs. So we're going to get tasked up. First, we're going to remove this bolt, nut, bolt, pound the bolt out with our pin punch, let the springs pop off. I'm going to clean out the debris and whatever else, maybe lube them up, dip them in some grease a little bit, and then I'm going to use my weight and my biceps to shove the springs back on. So watch how it's done. Alright, so we took off one side. Watch yourself when you're taking these out that they don't hit you in the face and they pop. So they got a little tension on them. Goes without saying. But here's kind of the icky corrosion we're talking about. This is a fairly new plow, so this wasn't actually happening. It wasn't getting seized up, but you can see, with paint and and just the corrosion, the nature of salt and steel, that there's going to be some corrosion that starts to happen. I don't know if you guys can see that in there. It's a little bit of rust, rusty rust. Not a big deal. But proper maintenance will prevent any locking up of the trip edge, which would be a real nuisance in a snowstorm. Not something you want. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these off with a rag, lube them up a little bit with some grease, and reinstall them. So we're going to start on the outside spring and then the inside spring. So I got my bolt, get that started, and I've got the pin punch in the inner hole, using that ear as leverage to push down on that spring. Once you got it started, you can tap it through most of the way. We'll use the impact to drive it in any additional. Just kind of pry up on it a little bit. It'll help get that spring aligned with the hole. So you start it in the other ear. Give you guys a close up here. So now we've got this bolt flush. It's started in that ear. So as you notice, I use the hammer. First drive it in, then the impact once it reached this ear. So then I was using the impact to kind of just screw that bolt in, get it to catch the threads and start on that ear. The simple little tricks are what makes this easy. Again, I'm going to push down, and I'm going to get this pin punch aligned in that hole. Alright, that one side is done. I didn't time myself. I guess y'all know how long it took on the video. Just a couple of minutes. By the time I got it in here and parked, and you know, I'm no worse off. So one more thing I wanted to point out here. It's important that you don't over tighten these springs. Just tighten it to where this nut here is flush, basically flush with the end of this bolt. Notice this is a locking nut, even though it doesn't appear to be. It's got this little dimple on the side, so it will lock when it's just flush. You don't have to over tighten it. You don't want to pinch these ears together so that the springs don't pivot. These springs, when the trip edge trips, these springs have to be able to pivot a little bit up here. Just like they pivot down here, they have to be able to pivot up here, so don't over tighten that. Just cause unnecessary wear. So that is your annual maintenance. You know, 4 or 5 year old plows might need this done once in a while, maybe every season. Just depends on how much use they're getting, how much corrosion there is. But it's a good idea to at least squirt some WD-40 up in there. If you're not going to do this where you take the springs out, grease them, probably be a good idea to at least squirt some lubricant up there every year. So again, these are the tools that we needed. Real simple stuff. 1 1/8 inch wrench, a pin punch, claw hammer, or anything like it. And I choose to use the impact wrench for fast and easy. So easy maintenance that can save you a lot of frustrations. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See y'all later.